Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to another OSRS weekly update video. Now this week we see a Kingdom Divided, and we have, to start it out, some player feedback and changes. So the first up on the feedback list is demonic ashes are not appearing in free-to-play, where the appropriate monsters should drop them, for example imps. So they clarified in their original blog that they should be available in free-to-play if the monsters are present in free-to-play. Next, they do agree to this, and that this should be the case, so they'll be changing that next week. The demonic ashes will drop from the appropriate free-to-play monsters. And feedback is players are reporting that the Ash Sanctifier is providing 100% prayer experience rather than 50%, as advertised in the blog. So, the action is the Ash Sanctifier is unlocked as a hard Corn Diary reward. With the Elite Corn Diary reward, the bonus prayer experience is increased from 50% to 100%. They are aware of this. They're aware of this was not made explicitly clear in the blog, and they'll be reviewing this as a team alongside various feedback changes, and eventually they'll have more information and that they will post it. Okay, so there was some issues in hotfixes. There was one where some players not being able to log in. That has been fixed. The values of the Greater Ghost and Skeleton are shown as 70 XP in the news post. This was incorrect, and the values have been now updated to reflect the correct number of 88. PvP worlds not appearing correctly. There was a 30-minute cooldown timer across all PvP worlds in order to shut down and convert for those purposes. And the PvP worlds that were closed with this week's game up, they have been taken offline and replaced with the correct worlds as per the current PvP rota. Tecton's stats appear to be overly high in Chambers of Xeric and Challenge mode, and that has been fixed. Part of the Pascalius became single-way combat, affecting two-tick fishing techniques. This will be reverted back to cold fix, so it'll be likely to be next week's game update. So Wednesday, June 23rd. The Abyssal Sire Pet Inventory model is incorrect. This is going to be another cold fix, be expected June 23rd. The mini-map for the lower level of the Yama dungeon is all black. This is going to be a cold fix that'll be on June 23rd. Concerns over whether the death charge can be used to restore special attack energy in PvP, and the result of this is players can no longer benefit from the special attack energy restoration of death charge while in PvP combat. Another one is Vanguards are not aggressive within the Chambers of Xeric after the first transition, and it has been resolved. So this week we do see a Kingdom Divided quest, so do check that out. It brings a lot of new stuff with it, including the Arceus spell rework, so do check it out. There is a full list of spells here. As you can see, there is reanimation spells at 16, 41, 72, and 90. Obviously, the higher they are, the more runes they require, from 4 body and 2 nature, 4 body, 3 nature, 1 soul, 1 blood, 3 nature, 2 soul, and then finally 2 blood, 4 nature, and 4 soul. And it starts out with goblins, monkeys, imps, minotaurs, scorpions, bears, and unicorns. Then it goes to dogs, chaos druids, ogres, giants, elves, trolls, and horrors. Then it goes to the Calphites, Dagonoth, Bloodvelds, Tizahar, and demons. And then finally you have the Avancy, abyssal creatures, and dragons at the Master Reanimation, which is level 90 magic, so do keep that in mind. There is different teleport spells. So we have Arceus Home Teleport, so this teleports to the Dark Altar in Great Corinth. You have Arceus Library, and that will be north of the Grand Library in Arceus. Draenor Manor. Battlefront. So this teleports to the tomb northwest of the Kivos Battlefront. Mine Altar, to the Mine Altar. respawn to whatever your respawn is. Soul of Graveyard teleports to the Soul of Graveyard. West Ardougne is West Ardougne. Frankenstein's Castle is to his castle. Harmony Island is to Harmony Island. Cemetery, that is a wilderness one, which is the Forgotten Cemetery in the wilderness. Burrows to the Burrows. Ape Atoll to the Ape Atoll dungeon, but this also requires completion of Monkey Madness 1. And then we have the grass spells at 35, 56, and 79. Ghostly Grass has a 10% chance to stop the enemy from moving for 2 cycles. Skeletal is a 25% chance for 4 cycles. And Undead is a 50% chance to stop for 4 cycles. And the max base hit for those is 12, 18, and then 24. That's pretty decent. The damage, or the magic XP, is 22.5 plus damage, and then 33 plus damage, and then 46.5 plus damage. Then you have the Demon Bane spells, which is 44, 62, and 82. The base max hit is 16, 23, and then 30. Inferior Demon Bane is first, which only works against demonic foes. Superior Demon Bane only works against demonic foes. And, of course, Dark Demon Bane, which only works against demons. Then you have Corruption spells, which is Lesser Corruption, level 64, 75 magic XP. You have a 33% chance to inflict corruption on your target with your next damaging hit. And you have Greater Corruption, level 85, and 95 XP, and 60% chance to inflict corruption on your target with your next hit. And then you have Resurrection spells. Resurrect Lesser Ghost, level 38, resurrects a ghost that will attack your enemies with magic damage and will remain alive for 1 cycle for every magic level the player had at the time. So, it'll remain alive for 1 cycle for every magic level the player had at the time. So that means you could potentially do 99 cycles. Keep that in mind, guys. You have Resurrect Lesser Skeleton, and these first 3 only have base max hit of 1, so it's not a lot of damage, but it is damage. This resurrects a skeleton that will attack your enemies with ranged damage and will remain alive for 1 cycle for every magic level the player had at the time. And Resurrect Lesser Zombie, and these are all 38 at the beginning, so it's just a different type of combat. And this will attack with melee damage. So, again, 1 cycle per magic level. But then you have the level 57 spells. So you have the Ghost, Superior Ghost, Superior Skeleton, Superior Zombie, which it goes magic, ranged, and then melee. And these will do 2 damage each. So that's actually pretty good. And it will remain alive 1 cycle for every magic level the player had at the time, and that applies for all of them. And then you have Resurrect Greater Ghost, Greater Skeleton, and Greater Zombie, and this is at level 76, and these all do 3 damage per attack, well, at most, and this resurrects, for magic, ranged, or melee, and it will remain alive for 1 cycle for every magic level the player had at the time. So make sure your magic is always as high as possible. And then we have marking spells. You have the Mark of Darkness, which is 59, 70 magic XP. An enemy under the spell suffers the following debuffs. Corruption hits occur twice as often. Your grasping spells are twice as effective, both success percent chance and the durations are doubled. Demon spells deal an additional 25% damage against demonic enemies, and Demon Bane spells have an additional 25% accuracy against demonic enemies. This spell will last 1 cycle for every magic level the player has at the time, so that can last quite a while. And then you have the Ward of Arceus, and that's 73, 85 XP, When this is cast, the player gains the following buffs: immune to corruption, grass spells only last for 1 cycle, damage from demonic foes is reduced by 10%. And this spell will last 1 cycle for every magic level the player has at the time. So these are very, very good spells to have. Offering spells, you have Demonic Offering, 80 magic level 84, 175 XP, converts up to 3 sets of ashes into prayer points, gives 3 times the base XP. And Sinister Offering, 92, 180 XP magic, converts up to 3 sets of bones into the prayer points and gives the 3 times the base experience. And then you have other spells, which is the Shadow Veil at 47, grants a 15% chance, 40% if wearing the Dodger Necklace, to avoid being stunned and damaged while pickpocketing NPCs for a set amount of time. Dark Lure, level 50, 60 XP, stops monsters from retreating during combat, including Implings. Vile Vigor, 66, 76 XP, converts remaining prayer points into run energy at a 1-to-1 ratio. The Grime, 70 and 83 XP, cleans all grimy herbs in the player's inventory that the player has the herb lore level to clean. Resurrect Crops, 78, 90 XP, gives a chance for dead farming patch to be brought back to life. The spell fails, the patch is cleared out. And Death Charge, level 80 and 90 XP, restores 15% of the player's special attack energy upon killing a monster. So, when a player is corrupted, they will start to lose prayer points over a short amount of time. After 10 cycles, one prayer point is drained. After another 10 cycles, 2 prayer points are drained. After the final 10 cycles, 3 prayer points are drained. If the Mark of Darkness has also been cast, corruption will occur every 5 cycles instead. So, this is a new type of damage that will be reflected in a new type of hit splat icon. So there's some new stuff to that. Naturally, corruption spells can only be cast on a player who is not already corrupted, so there is a little bit of relief from that. So keep in mind, this is going to be a huge quest, and it's going to have a big impact. There is a ton of different locations. We have a bank, general store, clothes store, Philia's Remor's home, Amelia's home, chapel, armor store, weapons store, combat ring, war tent, infirmary, and security tent. There is also some Slayer editions, so some environment editions, if you will, though, too, of giant spiders, rats, and a new boar. You also have bandits, and there's also, in the graveyard, there's some zombies and necromancer, which is new. And then you have the Ruins of Mora, which have links now. Further changes, Ash and the Ash Sanctifier. So they wanted to make the demonic creatures a bit more beneficial. So they now have a drop different types of ashes. You'll be able to scatter the ashes and receive prayer XP similar to Burning Bones. Zealot robes have no effect on demonic ashes, and the ash cannot be offered at the player altars or used at the Ecto Funtus. So that's one thing we were mentioning earlier. But you have Fiendus Ashes, which is 10 XP, and this is from Imps, Pyre Fiends, Ice Fiends, Water Fiends, Pyre Lords, Death Spawns, Scions, and Spawns, which is a Sire. Vile Ashes, 25. You got Lesser Demons, Greater Demons, Hellhounds, Bloodveld, Mutated Bloodveld, Agrith Nar, Othinian, Holthinian, Doomin, Chronozone, and Bouncer. Malicious Ashes, 65 XP. Black Demons, Necreol, Greater Necreol, Demonic Gorillas, Jungle Demon, Balfrog Krioth, Tistanan Kurlak, and Zakel and Grich. Abyssal Ashes, 85 XP. Abyssal Demons, Abyssal Sire. Infernal Ashes, 110 XP. Cerberus, Krill, Tuseroth, Scotizo, and Zolcano. So keep that in mind. The Ash Sanctifier is an untradeable object that lets you automatically scatter ashes, similar to how you bury bones with the Bone Crusher. When scattering this way, you'll receive half the amount of prayer XP. But keep in mind, if you complete the Korin Diary, especially all the way up to the elite, you'll get 100% of the prayer XP as you would normally if you had that. So keep that in mind. The login screen competition has come to an end, and it is congratulations to Need Plums with a very dark and kind of dreary picture, but very, very well done. Absolutely love it. Second place was Cherry Cake 4. Third place is Nancy 2 Wise. Fourth place is Parkinson Hyde. So that is absolutely fantastic. The Story So Far video competition has come to an end as well. And the winner is Evil Robert. So do check out their video. It's actually by HP Darkman. So absolutely fantastic. There's also Good Six Grief, second place. Third place is 1YFE. And fourth place is Wisdom 13. So do check those out. Also, we have the Chambers of Zarek. So, the Chambers of Zarek is getting a little bit of love this week. So now you can disable the level scaling that happens if no players are at or above level 115 combat in the Chambers of Zarek by talking to Captain Ramor. A default chest has been added that can hold 25 items in personal storage only. Iron Man can now use the shared storage unit in solo raids. Ultimate Iron Man can deposit items in the shared storage but can't take anything out. The Almost Firewall special attack can now be extinguished using the ancient ice spells. Herb patches now yield more herbs in larger raids. Vasa crystals no longer get the additional 50% defense and health modifier that the challenge mode bosses gain. A raid party can receive up to 6 unique rewards from a raid if they earn enough points. The challenge mode submerged Modadile damage model has been altered. Minimum damage is now 20% to 80% of its previous max hit, leading to more consistent damage but with less combo potential. Points now scale more linearly with combat level, meaning people with certain combat levels no longer receive disproportionately fewer points than they should have. A pickaxe spot has been added to the Stone Guardian's room. Vanguards will take pending damage during the transition phase, and players can now make 3 tiers of anti-poison potions inside the raid with the Noxifier and Sicily. As for PvP World, Rhoda has moved to Period A, 539 US PvP World, 538 Germany High Risk PvP World, 577 US Free to Play PvP World, and 559 UK LMS Competitive. And for extras, we have the Ceradomin themed Theater of Blood weapons now provide protection from that faction within the God Wars dungeon. They fix an issue with the Ceradomin scythe visually stretching in some circumstances. The look of the Ceradomin scythe inventory icon has been improved to better reflect the item itself. Players can no longer accidentally cast alchemy spells on the XP and lamp from A Night at the Theater. A quest journal for A Night at the Theater now clarifies whether or not the player has received their reward. The gauntlet tile patterns have been adjusted as there was a bug that prevented some patterns from ever appearing. Players can now build cannons inside the Abyssal Rune Crafting area. The Fight Pit's diary task can now be completed on Dead Man Mode Worlds by speaking to the Fight Pit Master Tzahar Mej Ka. The pillars in the clan hub no longer clip with the fence. Players may now retrieve the Barrow Chest anchor from Purdue if they lost it after Barrow Chest battle, even if they have not fully completed the Great Brain Robbery. Thorgol's shopping list now correctly states that he wants pure essence and not rune essence. That's actually it for today, guys. Do enjoy the quest, get those unlocks, and let me know your guys' adventures. But until next time, later, guys.